Welcome again. This is Dr. Amit Lal from AIM Canada. The whole concept of studying is messed up if I am not able to recall anything. This is the topic of my this short video, that is how not to forget any information, which is the most asked query, this is the most problematic situation each one of us usually end up before the exams. Have you ever thought like what I read today is going to be asked to me after 4-5 months from now? So how my mind will be able to reproduce it? Or you want to revise each one of the following points one day before the exam, which is practically not possible since we are going to have so many subjects lined up for our AFK upcoming in February or in August, all those who are preparing for August 2020 AFK exam. The doubt in my mind usually starts with a simple thought process like how am I going to retain this vital information for longer duration. So I'll share with you one very important and interesting psychological theory which will give you a newer insight on this topic, and this will help you understand how the brain works and how we can really change our pattern of studies, pattern of preparation, so that we don't forget things for long. I'll give you a simple startup with this. Our brain has got two kinds of memories. Okay, one is called short-term memory and another is called long-term memory. Short-term memory is something like RAM of my computer, RAM of my mobile phone. Long-term memory is something like my hard disk. RAM is limited. Okay, RAM is say 3 GB, 4 GB, 8 GB, 16 GB. Like whenever you add some information to your computer, when you do any processing, whenever you add any calculation, you open up any new window on the internet browser, first thing which your computer takes that memory is take it into RAM unless you command it to go into the hard disk. This is what your C drive is actually working upon. Long-term memory is when you really want your computer to make sure these things are going embedded in the hard disk and can be retrieved even after 10 years from now. The same is the funda of brain. The brain also works on the same algorithm. Brain segregates the information which are non-vital on daily basis and keep it into short-term memory. And the ones which brain knows that you are going to retrieve it after 5 years or 10 years from now, brain makes it go into long-term memory. The question here is very important, how brain decides or what makes the brain decide what exactly is to be transferred to short-term and what is to be in the long-term. All those who are preparing for AFK, suppose we start next week, like we are AIM Canada, we are starting a batch on 27th of September. All those things we are going to read on 27th September 2019. I have to reproduce on 1st of February 2020. 4 months plus, like after 4 months, I want that information to be retrieved. I genuinely speaking, I don't remember what I ate in my breakfast few days back, like 5 days, 7 days back. So why, like how on earth am I going to retrieve this information? So I have to make an algorithm, I have to make a system so that each and everything from endo, prostho, perio, ortho, dental materials, pharmacology, whatnot, local anesthesia, general anesthesia, epidemiology, the toughest portions, the guidelines, many things. After reading so much, say suppose I finish off today dental materials, tomorrow I start with endodontics, third day I start with perio, fourth day when I come to LA I am forgetting DM, then I am forgetting pharmac. How am I going to do the balance? And because it is required and you have been doing, it's not rocket science. These things what we are going to discuss today, you are doing from your childhood. I'll just give you a simple example. If I ask you what is 10 into 19, nobody on this earth needs a calculator for this at this stage. I'm not asking for everybody, I'm talking to all the dental graduates and postgraduates. If I ask you 10 into 19, you don't need calculator, you don't need pen and paper, and the answer you all know will say within fraction of seconds, that is 190. Why? Because this calculation our brain has done over a period of time, repeatedly million times, maybe more than that. So these things go embedded. This is in my long-term memory, how to multiply anything with 10. This is the funda, and this is how we are going to help you in AIM Canada to make sure the things go into your long-term memory, not to your short-term memory. Based on many psychologists, this is not something what I have devised. This is because I keep on learning the psychological methods. I'm reading books, I'm listening to many speakers, motivational ones. So I'm going to give you a very simple insight today. There is a curve which is called forgetting curve. People were not successful in developing a memory curve, but they were successful over a period of 32 years of study of one renowned psychologist in New Zealand gave this curve. Okay, this is called forgetting curve. The curve is like here on x-axis we have number of days on the increasing side like this, and here we have information, that is your data. Suppose on day one you are having this much of data in your brain. As per the studies, the data as the number of days pass keep on decreasing, and maybe it is meeting the zero on the x-axis someday. Okay, this is everybody knows. If I read say 200 drugs today, by 1 week I'll be somewhere here, by 1 month I'll be here, by 2 months I'll be washed out with only 2 drugs or maybe 5 drugs. And what we are talking is to retain each and every subject information for next 4 months for AFK in February, or 10 months for your August. So this is the challenge, and this is the segment where we will help you in this. This curve not only gave you forgetting aspect, this curve later on when it was revisited, this gave you this graph also. This is, you can have the peaks of information again. I started with 200 drugs and I can remember 200 drugs at times. I can remember 200 drugs at times, provided I am re-intervening on that information again and again. This is when they plotted this on the graph. They came to the points like after so many days you have to revise the things. This is where the secret of revision came into play. If you keep on revising this vital information from time to time, then you are going to have peaks of that initial information in your brain going into transferring the short-term memory data into your long-term memory. But this is something which was not heard of, which was not known to us. Right from our childhood, we know revision is an important part of preparation. We all agree with that. There is nothing I have told you is beyond anybody's knowledge, I would say. I have not uttered a single word which was not known to you. Then why am I recording this today for you guys and making you believe that this is something phenomenally interesting? The interesting part is not live in the revision, doing revision. The interesting part lied in the study was the time of revision. What interesting was the time interval between revisions. The time interval between revisions I have simplified as 1-2-1-2 rule. 1-2-1-2 rule. What I studied today, if that information I have made the notes, say suppose I studied 200 drugs today and I have made notes of those 200 drugs in my register today. If tomorrow after 1 day I give it a short reading, I will be able to touch the peak. After 2 days again, if I revisit that content, I will be able to give that peak. Then after 1 week, if I revisit, I will be getting the peak. 1 week, 2 weeks, 1 month, and lastly 2 months. These are the points which will create peaks. These are the points which are going to revisit your entire 200 points of drug, and this is how we have planned your preparation in AFK. We don't leave your content when we start from first chapter, that is the DM. Please see the previous video which is giving the schedule for the upcoming AFK coaching starting on 27th. We are going to revisit the chapters again and again through self-assessment test, through your mock test, through your doubt sessions, through our WhatsApp discussion groups. This is the purpose of giving you an insight from this study. Very, very interesting study of a scientist, psychologist, and it actually works. I have been trying this in my own schedule, and trust me, it is creating wonders for me. I hope you will also gain some confidence and some hope and some benefit extracting out of this small video. Myself, again, I am Dr. Amit Lal, instructor for AIM Canada, the point of contact for dentists in India for migrating to Canada as a dentist, that is for NDEB coaching. You can reach me on this number on WhatsApp for any query, any doubt related to preparation aspect, related to the batches starting. We are starting on 27th of September 2019 for February AFK exam, 2020 February and 2020 August AFK exams. Thank you. Keep watching this. Signing off for now.